evolution of sound.
Beep beep, what's up ninjas? Today's topic of discussion, how to make your very own future bounce lead. In this video, we're going to talk about what are the more common wavetables to use when making future bounce leads in Silent One, because I think Silent One is the perfect tool for that. The next thing we're going to learn is a couple of techniques that I pretty much put in my course, Silent One Secrets, which, by the way, it's out for those of you guys always asking for it, about like 30 of you guys. If you guys want to go sign up for it, it's in Udemy. I'll leave the link in the description below. That course is just going to be a lot of techniques, advanced techniques that to some might be simple techniques, but the moment you put them together, they start giving you these cooler, more interesting sounds that you guys are going to see in this video in action today. So if you guys are ready to create your very own future bounce lead, let's begin. What wavetable should you pick? That's the first question everyone's going to ask themselves. Okay, should I go with a saw, square, sine? The best ones are going to be the saw, the pulse, or the square, and the variants of the pulse, which have been modulated to get a thinner kind of, width on it. So pretty much saw, pulse, half pulse, quarter pulse are going to be the best ones to go with because they're going to have a lot more harmonic content. Now, what the hell do I mean by that? Well, pretty much when you play a note, all those mountains are what we call harmonics, and pretty much that's what people mean when they say, oh, it's increasing the harmonics and the more harmonics. So that's what that means. If you see a sine, it doesn't have that much harmonics. It just has the fundamental one here, and that's about it. So what we're going to do is go with a saw with 8 voices. And we're going to leave it as is. This is going to be our first layer of the sound. The next thing is we're going to go with a tri-saw. Now you're going, Samuel, I thought you said the waves to use were just saw and squares. The tri-saw is a good wave when you want to layer stuff or when you want to add some sort of mid-low to your sound. The reason for this is because it has some of the saw harmonics, but not too much, and it has some of the triangle, kind of characteristics. So it gives you both the best worlds, and it's good to layer stuff with, in my opinion. We're going to lower the volume on it. And you can see it gets a lot of that, gives it a lot of that backbone that we need. Now, the first technique I'm going to teach you that comes from Silent One Secrets, it's going to be the utilization of a bandpass with a distortion combo. I like to call them combo techniques, okay? Now, you're going like, what are you talking about, Sen? Okay, so we have a bandpass filter here, which is going to look like that. It's going to be like a low pass and a high pass kind of morphed together, and you're going to have like a mountain in the center, and the bandpass focuses in on one frequency. Now, if we were to just use a bandpass with the normal sound right now, it's you're like, Samuel, it just made it sound so thin, it doesn't even sound good. What we're gonna do is put in 12 dB, add a lot of drive, add a bit of resonance, and now pick a spot where you think it sounds good. I'm gonna go right there at 12 o'clock. Now, this is where the first technique comes into play. The moment we pair up bandpass with distortion, and we're gonna use a foldback for this one, we get these new textures. Now you may be going, that doesn't sound so advanced, Emerald. The thing about the whole Silent One Secrets being advanced techniques is that a lot of people wouldn't know to do this straight off the bat unless they experiment and fuck around and for some reason stumble upon the, oh, bandpass distortion gives you these effects. You might even know the technique, but you didn't know you were doing it. Now the cool thing about this is going to be that, the cutoff, it's going to give you different textures at different points in the cutoff interval. And that's the crazy thing about it. So pretty much when you're making your own future bounce lead, pick a place you like. Now, the next thing we're going to do is add mono legato and add a lot of portamento. And we're going to add slide to this because this is what's going to give us this kind of effect, okay? We're going to increase the cutoff on this. Now, the next trick is going to be to put a lot of reverb. And this is where you can go 2 different ways. And this is one of the techniques in Silent One Secrets. One of the things that a lot of people don't know is that if you were to put the dry and wet fully up on the reverb, you're going to get the full wet signal. But a lot of future bounce leads are doing this nowadays where, you lower the pre-delay, you lower the size down, and what you're going to get is that kind of trick. Now, a lot of people say, okay, I know this one, but in order to make it work properly, we got to lower the width on the reverb because right now it's all stereo. Increase the volume. And you're going to see it's going to give you that sound. But let's say that's not what you want. Then just lower the wet. Now, I want to make this sound thinner, so I'm going to move the bandpass to the right a bit more. There you go. Now the next thing to do is going to be to put our EQ. It could be any EQ. So the resonance, there we go. And then a little bit of delay. Do the Haas effect, which is one of the techniques in Silent One Secrets, guys. I'm just kidding, guys. And it's going to make your sound a lot wider. That's the cool thing about the Haas effect. Now, let's say you want the sound to be wider, then just turn the retrace off. You know, and this can also be a trap sound, which is kind of funny. Anyways, the last technique I'm going to show you guys is going to be one to get this to sound a lot more interesting, and that's going to be to apply a pitch A and B in reverse with some decay. This is going to make the pitch go down and then come back up, giving us this kind of sucking effect. And that's going to be it for future bounce leads. Now, you know, the cool thing about it is that you can change the way we made stuff. Like, you can be like, oh, I didn't like the band pass, I can take that off. I'll use a low pass instead. You know, and from there, you know, you can kind of make your own sounds out of it. Now, one last thing that I want to tell you guys is that techniques are always going to be made in Silent One. That's the crazy thing about a synth that is basic, is that a lot of people think it's basic, but there's so much depth into what you can do in it. One of the things too is, if you guys notice, when we move the cutoff on the sound, we get these really interesting textures, and you're like, I would like that kind of effect on my sound, but I don't know how to do it. One of the things is using envelopes is one of the more important things, like ADSR, and I recommend you guys learn it. And pretty much we're going to move it to the right, and since we're moving the cutoff, you can see the effects we can get with it. So, Silent One Secrets, it's out, guys. For those of you guys who were asking for it, you guys can go in Udemy. If you guys like these techniques, make sure to at least check it out. Give it a chance, and I'll see you guys next time. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the tutorial, and hopefully now you have a better understanding on how to get those thin, nice future bounce leads.